This is where we take a pile of, well, often challenging research and we try to boil it down into clear, useful knowledge for you. Today, we're tackling what's arguably the biggest story out there right now: the accelerating impact of artificial intelligence. We're looking at careers, education, basically how we all learn and earn. We've got a pretty solid stack of reports here: McKinsey, Goldman Sachs, the World Economic Forum. And our mission really is to get past the hype, past the headlines, and understand what's actually changing.
Yeah, and it's definitely the right time for this conversation. The public discussion tend to get trapped, doesn't it? One of our sources called it a false binary. This idea that AI is either, limitless potential or it's some kind of existential threat.
I like that framing. It sort of reminds me of asking if water is good or bad. Depends if you're drowning or drinking, right?
Exactly. It's about context and application. But with AI, the scale changes things. It feels less like just another tool.
More like an economic tidal wave, maybe?
That's a good way to put it. The stakes are just incredibly high. We're talking massive economic shifts. So before we even get to the job losses people worry about, let's look at the potential upside. McKinsey's projecting AI could add something like $13 trillion in global economic activity by 2030.
$13 trillion.
Yeah.
That's hard to even conceptualize. It's got to be more than just making things a bit faster.
Well, absolutely. It's not just incremental gains. The value, according to the sources, comes from two main places. First, huge productivity boosts, especially in knowledge work. Think AI generating code or summarizing complex legal stuff instantly.
Right.
Second, it's about entirely new markets, new capabilities, things we maybe haven't even thought of yet. This translates, they estimate, to about 1.2% extra GDP growth each year. That's a significant acceleration.
Okay, so that's the potential upside. But let's jump into the thing that worries people most: the job market shockwave. When you talk about trillions in value, the fear of automation, well, it follows pretty closely, and some of the numbers are quite stark.
They are. You look at Goldman Sachs, they estimate AI could expose the equivalent of 300 million full-time jobs globally to automation.
300 million.
And the World Economic Forum, looking just ahead to 2025, they put the figure at 75 million jobs potentially displaced worldwide.
Those are big, scary numbers. But do the sources say if the new jobs created will require totally different skills? Is it just a simple swap?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And no, it's not a simple swap. PwC gives us some context here. They estimate up to 30% of existing jobs could be automatable by the mid-2030s. But here's the crucial bit, the demographic that's most exposed this time. It's not just factory workers anymore.
Right.
It's concentrated among educated white-collar workers, knowledge workers earning, say, up to $80,000 a year.
Okay, why that group specifically? Why the sort of middle-tier knowledge workers?
Well, it seems to be because a lot of the value they provide involves tasks that are becoming easier to automate. Things like standardized data processing, pulling information together, creating routine documents. Think entry-level paralegals, junior accountants, maybe some middle management roles.
Tasks with structured inputs and structured outputs.
Exactly. Generative AI is getting really good at that specific function. It can compress, years of learning into an instant result for those kinds of tasks.
So let's get specific. Which jobs are really in the crosshairs? You mentioned customer service reps. Their queries are often repetitive. What else?
Accountants and bookkeepers are definitely high on the list. AI can handle the routine bookkeeping, data analysis, reconciliation much more efficiently sometimes. It reduces the need for human oversight on those standard financial tasks.
Makes sense. And paralegals.
Yeah, another big one. AI can sift through massive document dumps, draft standard legal reports, gather facts, tasks that used to take entry-level paralegals ages. You can do it in seconds.
Okay, and this one might hit close to home for some in the tech world: entry-level software engineers.
Right. This is maybe one of the more challenging findings. One source quoted a CEO who speculated AI might write essentially all basic code by 2026.
All basic code. Wow.
Yeah. If the task follows a known logic, a known pattern, which a lot of introductory coding does, AI is proving very capable.
Okay, so if AI is coming for the structured, data-heavy, kind of repetitive work,
Right.
what's left?
Mm.
What are the more human roles that resist this automation? There was an Eskimo study you mentioned looking at jobs with high human interaction.
Yes, and that study really underlines the value of complex judgment and, well, human connection. Top of their list with a perfect 100 AI resistance score: lawyers.
Lawyers. Okay, but AI can draft documents for them.
Oh, for sure. It will be a tool for them. But the core tasks interpreting complex law, ethical reasoning, strategy, arguing a case in front of a human judge that still requires 100% human judgment, according to this study. The nuances are just too complex.
Right, the context, the human element. What else?
The medical and health services manager scored very high, 93. AI helps with diagnostics, yes, but managing a hospital or clinic, that involves navigating bureaucracy, dealing with staff, patients, public relations. Highly interactive. The study noted over 89% interaction with the public.
Okay. And human resources managers. They scored an 87. We talk about soft skills, but what makes HR specifically resistant?
It's more than just generic soft skills. The study points specifically to empathy. About 83% human empathy needed. AI can screen resumes, sure, but can it genuinely manage team motivation, mediate complex conflicts between people, handle sensitive things like layoffs with the necessary human touch and ethical understanding? Probably not.
So it's the deeply human skills. The list also had teachers, psychologists, psychiatrists, surgeons.
Yeah, the common thread there is roles where trust, experience, that connection with a patient or student, it's just fundamental. It's not optional. It is the job in many ways.
And creativity. Artisans, writers.
For genuine originality, yes. Especially fine art, imaginative work. AI is fantastic at remixing, at interpolating, based on the vast amounts of data it's trained on. It can imitate styles brilliantly.
But true novelty, coming up with something completely unexpected.
That still seems to be a uniquely human spark, driven by our own experiences, emotions, our quirks.
Okay, so we've talked about displacement and we've talked about resistance, but this isn't just a story of loss. The World Economic Forum, the same source that mentions 75 million displaced jobs, they actually predict a net gain.
That's right. It's crucial to see both sides. They estimate that while 75 million jobs might be displaced by 2025, around 133 million new roles could be created.
Which gives us a net gain of 58 million jobs.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is what these new jobs are. They're mostly centered around guiding, managing, and frankly, policing the AI itself.
So humans shift from doing the task to managing the tool that does the task.
Precisely. You become the strategist, the refiner, the validator.
Okay, like prompt engineers. That's a job title we hear a lot now.
Yeah, the perfect example. Their entire job is figuring out how to talk to the AI, how to craft the right inputs, the right prompts to get the desired output, whether it's text or code or images. It's strategic communication with a machine.
And then there's the crucial need for oversight, AI ethics specialists.
Desperately needed. These aren't just philosophers debating theories. They're practical experts making sure AI systems are fair, transparent, aligned with our values, compliant with regulations. They tackle the bias problem in data head on.
Right, because the output is only as good or as fair as the input data.
Exactly. And as AI gets integrated into workflows, we need people to manage that integration. Human-machine teaming managers.
So optimizing how humans and AI work together.
Yeah, designing those collaborative workflows. And of course, we need AI trainers and teachers people who are constantly validating the AI's output, refining the algorithms, teaching it nuance.
It really sounds like AI becomes a sort of cognitive assistant, a multiplier. It handles the grunt work.
Right, the routine stuff, which frees up humans, theoretically, to focus on the harder problems, the creative solutions, the strategic thinking. It's augmentation, not just replacement.
Augmentation, I like that, a super helper. Okay, so if AI is augmenting us in the workplace, what about in education? When we introduce these tools to students still learning the fundamentals?
Well, it's already happening, and pretty fast. A Ford survey from 2023 found 60% of U.S. educators had already used AI in some way.
60%. And did they find it helpful?
Apparently so. 55% of them reported seeing improved learning outcomes. So, teachers are seeing potential here, especially for tailoring the learning experience.
Personalization seems to be the keyword, like adaptive learning systems.
Yes, that's a big one. Systems that use machine learning to adjust the curriculum, the pace, the style, the difficulty to match each individual student's needs. Think platforms like Dreambox Learning, which some Harvard research showed led to significant math gains because of this kind of personalization.
And slightly different are intelligent tutoring systems, or IT.
Right. While adaptive systems adjust the what and when, ITS acts more like a one-on-one tutor. It monitors progress in real time, provides very specific feedback right when a student is struggling with a concept.
Like having a dedicated tutor for every student almost.
That's the idea. And for the teachers themselves, AI offers automation grading routine assignments, analyzing class performance data to see who's falling behind and maybe why. This frees up the teacher's time for more direct interaction, mentoring, the human stuff.
And beyond that, are there more sort of cutting-edge uses?
Definitely. Think about virtual and augmented reality. powered by AI. Imagine simulating historical events or letting science students conduct complex experiments in a safe virtual lab. It adds a whole new layer of immersion and practical understanding.
Okay, the potential is clearly there. But with such powerful tools entering the classroom, there must be significant concerns, pitfalls we need to manage.
Absolutely. The first major one is bias and equity. AI learns from data. If that data reflects existing societal biases, and it often does, the AI can perpetuate them.
Meaning it might not work as well, or could even give skewed feedback to students from certain backgrounds.
Precisely. Ensuring fairness and equity in these tools requires constant vigilance and very careful curation of training data.
Then there's the data itself. These tools need a lot of student data to work effectively.
Which raises huge privacy and security flags. We're talking about sensitive information about children's learning patterns, their struggles. Data breaches or misuse would be disastrous. We need incredibly robust protection protocols.
And what about the human element of teaching? Can AI replace that?
That's a critical point. Diminished human interaction is a real risk. AI can't replicate the social and emotional learning that happens through face-to-face interaction with teachers and peers, dealing with frustration, collaboration, nuanced feedback that's learned through human connection. AI should support teachers, not replace that core relationship.
Gotcha. And finally, access.
Yeah, the risk of widening the digital divide. If only well-funded schools can afford these sophisticated AI learning tools while others lack the basic infrastructure, well, then AI could end up worsening educational inequality, not fixing it.
So, across both work and education, the message seems clear. AI is coming. You can't really stop it. Adaptation is the only way forward.
Resistance is futile, as they say. It really is about adapting and proactively upskilling.
So, what should you, our listener, be doing right now? What are the concrete steps for career resilience?
Okay, first and foremost, embrace lifelong learning. You have to assume that skills will constantly need updating. Be prepared to learn new tools, new approaches throughout your career.
Makes sense. Stay curious.
Second, double down on soft skills. Communication, complex problem solving, collaboration, emotional intelligence. These are things AI struggles with. AI is good at predictable systems. Humans excel at navigating ambiguity and, well, messiness.
So, lean into the human advantage.
Third, be agile and specialize. Be ready to pivot. Don't just be a generalist doing tasks AI can replicate. Develop deep expertise in a specific niche. Become the go-to person for something complex and valuable.
Become indispensable in your corner.
And fourth, and this one trips people up sometimes if they aren't technical, cultivate some foundational knowledge of how AI works.
You mean everyone needs to learn to code?
No, not necessarily code, but having a decent grasp of the underlying concepts helps immensely. Understanding basic statistics, maybe a little calculus, linear regression.
Okay, hold on. Why does, say, an HR manager need to know about linear regression?
Because you need to understand the logic behind the AI's recommendations or outputs, not just blindly accept them. Knowing how a model makes predictions, even conceptually, helps you spot potential bias or understand its limitations. If you're that AI ethics specialist, knowing how the math might be creating bias is key to fixing it. You need to be an informed user, an informed manager of the technology.
Right. So you can ask better questions and interpret the results critically.
Exactly. Understand the thinking process of the machine, not just the final answer.
Okay, that brings us full circle. The new landscape requires us to understand the tool, not just use it. So wrapping this up, what's the big picture takeaway for you, the listener?
AI is transforming basically every industry: logistics, healthcare, finance, media, you name it. The research is clear. The question isn't if we adopt it, but how skillfully, how ethically we integrate it. It's a massive shift, yes, but like previous technological revolutions, it also creates immense new opportunities.
And the core strategy remains the same.
Focus relentlessly on what makes us human. Complex judgment, ethical consideration, deep interpersonal connection, genuine creativity and originality. That's where our unique value lies in this new era. That's our competitive edge.
AI automates the tedious, it saves us time. That's the promise, the gift, perhaps.
That's the potential upside, yeah.
So here's the final thought we want to leave you with. AI might give you back time by handling the routine. What complex human quality, maybe compassion, maybe deep curiosity, maybe building stronger connections, what will you choose to invest that freed up time in to help ensure not just productivity, but human flourishing? Thanks for taking this deep dive with us. We'll see you next time.